individuals who pose a serious threat to this community. They are not random, and they are not political.
Bavino saying numerous criminals accused of everything from assault to rape arrested over the weekend, though providing no evidence to support that when asked by reporters. But U.S. citizens have also been swept up in the raids, and local officials say weeks of violent traffic stops and other actions taken by ICE are hurting the community, even police. Brooklyn Park Police Chief Mark Bruley, along with other local law enforcement, describe multiple instances of their own officers, all people of color, being stopped by ICE agents while off duty.
If it is happening to our officers, it pains me to think of how many of our community members are falling victim to this every day. It has to stop.
After ICE agents pulled him from his home shirtless in the bitter cold, only to be released without charges an hour later, Chongli Scott Tao, who's a naturalized U.S. citizen from Laos, is speaking out about his experience.
This isn't sorry or anything. They just, okay, you're good. They just left. That's about it.
His family says the people agents were looking for, who federal officials say are violent criminals, never even lived in the home. Trump acknowledging that ICE has made some mistakes.
You know, they're going to make mistakes sometimes. ICE is going to be too rough with somebody, or, you know, they're dealing with rough people. They're going to make a mistake. Sometimes it can happen. We feel terribly.
Democratic Minnesota State Senate President Bobby Joe Champion pushing back.
The comment made by the president is just a way of not coming full circle around admitting that ICE has been pretty destructive.
Now, as for the vice president's visit, we don't yet know who he will meet with or where, but safe to say, Michael, he will be met with protests on arrival.
I'm here in Washington, D.C., and today I will be testifying in front of Congress. How this works is I will be testifying right here. Each person will have 5 minutes to testify. And then up here you have all of the congressmen and congresswomen. They also will have their time as well. And I'm going to be talking about the widespread fraud that's been happening inside the United States and in Minnesota. As you guys all saw, I exposed the open and blatant fraud that's taking place inside of Minnesota. And so therefore I'm here to testify about that. And what will happen is each one of these congressmen will have then 5 minutes to go and ask me questions. And there'll be a clock on one of these screens, and for 5 minutes I have to answer all questions that are directed to me. It's almost like a shot clock in a basketball game where you have to go until the timer runs out. And really quick, the quality leering hoodies are live on the website, Shirley Defense. You can go ahead and get it in the link in the description or in the pinned comment down below. And now let's testify in front of Congress.
Mr. Shirley, you're recognized for your opening statement.
Awesome. I'm here today to speak on behalf of all hardworking, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens here inside of the United States. I've helped bring to light widespread fraud that's happening inside our nation, and we the people have had enough of our hard-earned money going towards fraudsters as if it's no big deal. As I speak here, I want to ask everyone a question. How much do we trust when we pay our taxes it's going to benefit our nation? People erupted during the Boston Tea Party over just a few percentages as they believed they were being taxed without representation. Nowadays, we have the representation, but do we trust our representatives? My name is Nick Shirley, and I made a 41-minute video that I posted on platforms like X and YouTube. My video received over 100 million views, and it created instant change within our government. As the federal government launched investigations and departments such as Health and Human Services froze over $185 million in child care funding until businesses can prove they are legitimate businesses. I actually became aware of the fraud that was happening in Minnesota in June of 2025 as I was there for a separate video in Minnesota and started reaching out to me, asking me if I was making a video on the fraud. I said, well, what fraud? And this lady, she was a real estate agent, and she says, well, I'm having a hard time selling my properties because people are curious about these assisted livings that are popping up next door to some of the houses that we're buying or the home health care clinics that are popping up, and we don't know who's next to these houses that we're trying to sell. And I said, well, I'm not gonna come and make a video if I don't have any proof. So therefore I left Minnesota, and I continued to look for fraud in the best way I could. And as I was getting my own information, a man by the name of David reached out to me and he said, hey, I have been investigating this fraud for years now. I have been driving by these child care centers. I have never seen a single child, and I have received the information from the state of Minnesota as to how much money these places are receiving. I said, great, let me come to Minnesota and we'll make this video about potential fraud that was taking place inside of Minnesota. We go to a daycare, and I'm instantly surprised by what we see. We arrived, and it was an industrialized building, and there was 2 daycares registered at that daycare, at that building. And the first thing I noticed is all the windows are blacked out, and there's no footprints in the snow of any children. There's no playgrounds or anything that would make it look like it's a child care. But above me, a sign read, open 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. We go to a
I can't deal with it. I can't believe it, dude. It's just, he is so stupid. Like, he is so objectively, observably dumb. So the very fact that he has any emotion at all, like in front of other adults, it makes me feel like I'm going crazy. It makes me feel like we're living in 2 alternative realities.
But there was nobody there. The doorbell did not even work. And then we continued to go to other daycares, and we noticed the same pattern. No children, blacked out windows, and one daycare, a learning center, spelled Quality Learning Center instead of Quality Learning Center. They had received $1.9 million, yet with that $1.9 million, they could not even spell Leering right on their sign. Governor Walz has said he's been fighting fraud in Minnesota since 2019 and said the buck stops with him. However, how long would it take for you to notice $1 million leaving your bank account and not knowing where it's going? That's essentially what had been happening in Minnesota for years, as billions of dollars have been misplaced. And meanwhile, while people like Governor Tim Walz call people like me a white supremacist, delusional conspiracy theorist.
It is objectively white supremacy that makes people think that this guy is actually brilliant, intelligent in any way, shape, or form. Whereas, did she get groomed? Oh, hell yeah. Whereas the Somali daycares that had quality Leering Center on the side of the fucking daycare is actually run by stupid, low IQ Somalis. Like, you have to be a white supremacist if you think that this fucking dipshit who can't even talk is supposed to be a metric or a measuring tape for who is intelligent and who's not. What the fuck? White people will look at a guy like this who can't even talk and go, that guy's brilliant, and then assume that every Somali is actually low IQ.
He actually decided to drop out of re-election because I believe of how deep and extensive this fraud is. Thank you very much. Since my reporting, the HHS department froze over $185 million, and to this day, not a single business has been able to prove proof of legitimacy. How fast would you be proving that you are a legitimate business if you have children to actually feed and to take care of? You'd be sending in that paperwork instantly. I made this video to document the widespread fraud that has been taking place, as I truly believe all fraud is bad. And people like me, my generation, we're sick of seeing tax dollars go towards fraud.
By the way, notice how he definitely doesn't know how to read. Y'all thought I was exaggerating. He's just like, the paper's in front of him. He's not even reading.
We just want to have the same opportunities that our fathers and our grandparents had. And when you see people making millions of dollars by committing fraud, it upsets everybody from all age demographics. And so I hope today we can have a good conversation, and I think we can all agree that fraud is bad and that fraud is fraud. And I wish the best for our country, and I think that's what needs to be happening, is to crack down on all forms of fraud. So thank you for having me, and God bless the USA.
Mr. Shirley, now I guess investigative journalists are known as right-wing social media influencers. So can you confirm how many daycare centers you personally visited in Minnesota during your investigation?
During that first video, we went to around 7.
How did you select those facilities? I know you said earlier footprints in the snow, but how was it that you identified those facilities to go to initially?
So the man David in the video, he had the daycares with the CCAP funding, and we just simply drove around Minnesota and around Minneapolis area.
Took a lot of courage to do that, I would imagine. Probably more so now than what it was when you initially did it. 100 million views, you said.
Yes, over 100.
Bro, half of these people are lawyers, man. You went to college. Like, you know you're talking to a person who doesn't have a fully functioning brain. Maybe we're the crazy people. Maybe I'm the crazy person, but like, there's 0% chance that these people are looking at him and going, wow, you're so brilliant. You're so brave. You're so big. Like, do people not see what I see? Am I alone here? I wouldn't trust this guy to drive me around, let alone get my fucking political commentary from him. He is incredibly dumb.
40 million views on X alone.
So what was Mr. David's background? How did you connect with him, and how did he call you, or did you reach out?
He simply is just a man in Minnesota who has a passion for his city, and he's been seeing fraud taking place for years. And out of all the thousands of messages I get on Instagram and other platforms, I just happened to read his, and he provided me the information, so I gave him a phone call.
And then from there, just went to those different facilities. What was probably the most interesting thing as you were doing this? I think I saw the video. We watched it, and it looked like it was a number of facilities like in the same building.
Yes. So in one building, there was...
You mean a medical plaza? Really? Really? Congressman, a medical plaza? This is what's so shocking to you. Come on, man. You know this is bullshit. Fuck. I can't stand these motherfuckers, bro. They are such liars. Really? Let's see what this dude, what's this dude's deal? Let's see, Mr. Moore. Okay. Barry Moore. Representative Barry Moore is an American politician serving as the U.S. representative for Alabama's 1st District. Okay? That's him, right? Now, you might go, well, he's from Alabama. That makes sense. He's that stupid. But, like, he's a fucking representative. So, let's look at his background. Felix Barry Moore. Alabama's 1st District. Where'd he go to college? Why isn't it say over here? Early life and education. He grew up on a farm in Coffee County, attended Enterprise State Community College. He later attended Auburn University, got a Bachelor of Science degree in Agricultural Science, and then he enlisted in the Alabama National Guard. Okay, you went to college. You went to fucking college. Okay? You're not this stupid. You know what a fucking medical plaza is. What are we doing? Bro studied corn. I mean, come on, dude. This man has been arrested for lying. Wait, what? He was arrested for lying. He posted about the killing of Ashley Babbitt, saying that a black officer shooting a white female veteran doesn't fit the narrative. Twitter temporarily suspended his account. Oh. He committed perjury? When? In April 2014, Moore was arrested for felony perjury and lying to authorities during a grand jury investigation into Hubbard. Moore was acquited of all charges. Moore entered politics in 2010, at the urging of the then chair of the Alabama Republican Party, Mike Hubbard. Moore was elected to the Alabama House of Representatives in 2010, defeating Democratic incumbent Terry Spicer. I mean, I'll be honest. I was going to fucking dunk on him and be like, you know better, but I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back. This motherfucker doesn't know any better. Honestly, Alabama, what the fuck are we doing? Yeah, Alabama has not unlocked medical plazas in the tech tree. Actually, he probably doesn't know what a doctor is. He still thinks it's like witchcraft. Oh.
And it looked like it was a number of facilities like in the same building.
Yes. So in one building, there was, I believe, 3 daycares, and there was no children. And they were all receiving CCAP funding for separate daycares. There's one daycare we went to that one day it was closed by the government, and then that same day it was reopened underneath another name. And they both received CCAP funding.
So how many daycares are there in Minneapolis we think are fraudulent right now? Mr. Shirley, any idea? Are the amount of money total? You get any idea on that?
Well, they've frozen over $185 million, and not a single business has been able to prove that they're a legitimate business yet.
It's $185 million for sure that we know.
Mr. Shirley, thank you for your testimony today and the work that you've done. Americans hear these numbers of the fraud that we have, and whether it's 10,000 or 10 million or 10 billion, sometimes the numbers, you almost become desensitized to it. And so
how is this moron made it to Congress and still his only line is, why didn't they show me the children? I think we deserve everything bad that's coming to us. As Americans, as Americans, we don't deserve it. But like America as a nation state, unfortunately, has a real problem with stupids. Okay? A real problem with stupids. And when I see congressional hearings take place like this, when I see Yale Law School graduates like Mr. Kiley fucking talking about how brilliant this investigative reporting was, when I think about J.D. Vance saying this guy deserves a Pulitzer for a video that was very clearly made by perhaps one of the dumbest people I've ever actually laid eyes on, I think to myself, well, we are voting these guys in, so we must deserve all of the fucking death and destruction that befalls us. What comes next, we kind of deserve, right? Because we still have these people that we are voting into office. I've lost all of my confidence and all of my gusto after having a conversation with Bob and Mary Sue earlier. This is what it took. This is what it took. When I see scumbag right-wing fucking politicians, okay, when I see scum fucking right-wing politicians play this weird song and dance as though there is anything of worth here, as though there is anything notable to discern from this absolute moron's commentary that was, and I kid you not, it literally was, show me the children, screaming, show me the children outside of fucking childcare facilities, and then being shocked by the existence of a medical plaza. When I see stuff like that, and I see all these adults continue playing this song and dance, I think to myself, I must be living in a different planet. I am not long for the world.
The way that your video was able to show people the fraud sort of in real life actually happening, I think opened a lot of eyes and has helped to catalyze a level of scrutiny that we really should have had before. So you mentioned in your testimony that you think that what you discovered in Minnesota, that
I can't deal with this. I cannot deal with this. I mean, these aren't even questions at Glaze session. He only posted like the positive ones.